Hello 5th grade, welcome along to more art time with me, Mr. Gabe. This week you guys are going to be drawing a Chinese dragon. Chances are you've seen one before. They have this long snake-like body and they have legs as well. They don't have wings. They're not winged dragons, but very often you see them. I think they're pictured flying anyway. So they're magic creatures. They're symbols of power as well. Okay, so to draw this picture, you do need to take time. It's time consuming to get all the details right. So you really need to give yourself 45 minutes or an hour to finish this picture. As you can see, mine is just with black marker, but if you wanted to, you could use colors. You could make a monochrome picture like we did last week. You could have like a purple or pink or red or orange dragon. Or of course you could use many different colors. You could have all different colored scales, or you could color in the scales afterwards, either with colored pencil or marker. Okay, so it doesn't have to just be a black outline dragon like this one. Alright, let's get started. So to begin with, we need to sketch out the basic shape of the dragon's body. And it needs to have a big kind of curving back and 2 points that touch or that get close to the ground where the legs are going to be. And of course we need to leave enough space for the head. Alright, so what I'm going to do is just sort of sketch out those areas on the page. Alright, so more or less the head is going to fit into this shape, and the neck is going to come sort of out the back of that shape and curve down and around like this. That's where the feet will go. Then it's going to curve up again. And down. And the back legs will come out here, down here. And then we have to have enough space for the tail, which is going to come back and curl all the way over like that. Alright, so that's pretty good. I managed to fit my dragon into the space that I have kind of first time. But if you need to, you can of course make adjustments, you can erase things, you can move the dragon's body around. Okay, I'm going to do the legs next. So one leg is going to come down like this to the foot. So see how that shape, that's the back of the foot there. That's more or less a straight line that kind of curves a bit at the top, and that edge of the leg is very curvy. And then what we want to do here is have the claws at the end of the toes. So let's draw those first. 1, 2, 3, and then put the toes in like that over the top. Now of course we're going to have to do this 4 times, so you might get better at it as you go along. On this side, this leg is going to be lifted, so the foot's going to be kind of in the air, and it's going to be sort of reaching forwards. So we've got a shape like this, okay? That's the top of the hand, and that's the kind of fingers curling over. So a little bit different this time. So that's 1, 2, 3, claw, and we've got a thumb here. let's carry on then. Back legs. Okay, so the legs and the feet are done. Let's move on to the head next. So the cool thing about these Chinese dragons, their heads have really kind of like long, flowing bits of hair, or maybe like bits of skin, and they sort of follow the curving shape of the body. So let's have these. I'm going to do one like this, that's coming from the nose. And it's going to come out on the other side too. Alright, so this is a shape that's the back of the mouth here, and this is like a kind of ear. We're going to have another long kind of wavy bit coming off like this. And some more here, kind of horns on the top of the head maybe. That looks good. It's quite complicated, isn't it? These complicated shapes to get right. We'll add more detail as well when we come to the marker. Alright, now the body of the dragon needs to be divided into two sections. We're going to have a kind of underbelly. Now the final thing that we'll do with the pencil is a spiky back to the dragon, kind of like wave shapes. One last thing that we will do is add some of this like a crest, maybe, not sure what to call that, but that part that goes down the back of the dragon, we're just going to put some on the back of the legs as well. Now moving on to marker, I'm going to start with a thicker marker and then use a thinner marker also in places as well. So we're going to work on the body first, and first of all the underside of the dragon's body, and we're going to outline this all the way through first of all. Okay, now see that little white space that I left? That's important. The little white space above that that curve, the part of the leg. Same again, a white gap. Next is to colour that in, or to marker that in, but leaving little white stripes. Okay, so I'm doing like about 3 strokes with the marker and then leaving a little white space. Okay, we're going to do next the top part of the dragon's back, these little wave shapes. Now we're going to add these little wave shapes to the back of the legs, and remember that little white space? Remember to try and keep that white space there when you do this line. I've got a bit close, I kind of messed that up a bit there, but there is enough of a white space to see that it's separated. This tail as well, we're going to create a white space around the end of the tail there. Okay, carrying on, we're going to do the feet next, the feet and hands, just the outlines. And now, of course, outlining the head. Okay, so I'm going to use the eraser and tidy up, take out some of these pencil lines. And now finally I'm going to switch to the thinner marker for the last stage, the finer details. Starting with the teeth here, and then the scales all along the back of the and on the legs of the dragon. So we want some sharp pointy teeth first of all. And then the scales. I'm going to start along the body with the scales, then do the legs, and then finally come back to the head for the scales on the head. Alright, now the way we're going to do this is with little shapes like this, okay? And we're going to go all the way along, do one line at a time. And yeah, it's going to take a while, but take your time, it's worth it, because it's going to look great. So you should see how those patterns overlap. So the first set of loops just go along the line of the body, and the second set that I'm doing now overlap, you see, and they touch the top part of each scale. I'm actually going to jump to the scales on the feet and the legs now, and the reason for that is because I want the scales to kind of join in smoothly to the body. For these two legs it doesn't matter so much because they're behind, so let's do those first, and we're just going to do very small scales just along the back of the thumb there, and just a little bit like that. Okay, so not the whole hand is going to be scaly. So you see, even here the scales are going sort of in more or less the same direction as the rest of the body. Okay, so did you see how I fit those scales in? So now they're in the same line as the body here. Okay, let's continue now with the rest of the body. So at this stage I just want to pause and explain what's going to happen next. which is the scales should stay big on these top sections and they should get smaller. It's already starting to happen. It should get smaller where it curves in, like here. So down here and down here, and of course where the tail is, they're going to get smaller as well. So they're going to be big along the top back of the dragon. Alright, we're almost finished. We're just going to add some scales on the face and the head, and that's it. And that's it. The drawing is finished. A finished Chinese dragon. It definitely takes time, but I hope that you find it rewarding to finish a picture like this, and I hope you guys are happy with what you make, and of course don't forget to share them so I can see what you do.